Tirreno Adriatico, Stage 5. And once again, more than 200 kilometres to be dealt with. Thank heaven the rain abated, temperatures rose as a southerly wind started to pommel the landscape, and that landscape was extremely gnarly. Possibly more than 30 climbs along the way, some of them categorised, and many a wall to be climbed essentially. Yet again it was a wild field of possibilities. Milan and Ghana both together. Milan having a rough time of things over the last couple of days. Very late home the stage prior, shooting the breeze with his friend. Ayuso looking very serious for UE Team Emirates. Surely this day would garner something. And for a breakaway, an opportunity. De Bont started it off with Decathlon, joined by two from Alpecin de Koenig, and of course, Tarozzi, the King of the Mountains man. He wearing the green jersey with pride, and plenty of points up for grabs. If he was able to get over two of those climbs, you never know, he could actually secure the jersey. Meanwhile, what was on offer for the field? Well, some big men were starting to struggle behind as the gap opened up to around 6.5 minutes. Such was the rise and fall of the day. Our breakaway started to disintegrate as well, I'm afraid. Munoz the first to pull the pin, and he wouldn't to be the last. Everyone else chasing into that gap, and it was trimmed from around 6.5 minutes, and we were beginning to wonder, would they make it? Well, the pendulum swung one way and the next, feed stations notwithstanding, and indeed the rougher road surface in some of the country areas came through our intermediate sprint, and in fact we were on a big loop, including two significant climbs, and of course the headwind finale that we were all worried about. The likes of Van der Poel were finding that this was a tough day. Jan Maas likewise had his troubles. There were a few bumps and bruises out there, but really being part of the breakaway was the place to be. At least you were sure about what was lying up ahead, and some of the lines on some of the descents as well really paid dividends. For those who were caught in the pack, the concertinaing, I'm afraid, had an impact, and hitting the road hard, Eddie Dunbar pulling out of the race. By the time we made our turn for those last two climbs, it really was a battle of attrition for our break. Suddenly we were down to 4, and it was to get into single figures before long. They were retrieving and indeed driving, but so were the pack. Plenty had been left behind, but not the ambition of the men up front. Still the drive came. Decathlon, and indeed our main impresario of the day, De Bont, was encouraging others around him. One of his teammates popped out of the front of the pack to try and close the gap, and meanwhile one man just decided that he was going to be last man standing. Tarozzi was caught by the pack, but out front, going for it, was Freddie de Verne. Well, the Norwegian was grinding away, others were reaching out to try and close that gap. Pidcock one of those. Garner had himself some chain issues. It was kicked off and damaged his mech by the last. Thankfully for him, in the last 3Ks, he was okay, time-wise. Well, a time machine it seemed to be with de Verne. He crossed the line to claim the day. First breakaway winners. Wonderful. Norway can be proud. Coming out close at hand, Van der Poel had really made a big noise for himself. Garner's time deficit was of no concern. He was within the last 3 kilometres when he had his problems. De Verne then with Van der Poel, Adria in the frame as well. Ayuso very much where he needed to be. Second place overall, 22 seconds behind Garner, who kept his time. Tarozzi not only kept the green jersey, but now owns it. Mathematically, he can't be caught. He just needs to finish this great race. A young rider maybe. Ayuso, though, it feels like he's champion in waiting. Even Garner says the tough weekend is going to be impactful. Super racing, absolutely brilliant. Milan stays in the Ciclamino. Fast men will have their fun on Sunday. Before then, the mountains.